Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym. We're just coming off of continuing education. I have Amber here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to travel and eat.
Oh, you were so not in that one.
Whatever. But what it's like to travel, like everybody knows that you come back from traveling for 3 days, you feel like a beach whale. I mean, it's like, did I really gain that much fat in that amount of time? Like, probably not, but that's what it feels like, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. What are some of the factors going into it? What are the ways that you can kind of make yourself feel better once you do get back and while you're on the road, so you're not just feeling like garbage the entire time? And what's your take on this anyway?
My take on why
Like,
I feel like crap?
Well, no.
Or
like,
do I feel like crap?
Do you feel like crap
Yeah.
after you?
The older
it's warm.
The older I get, I feel like the worse it gets.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe the more rigid I get. Like, the more I like to sleep in my own bed
Yes.
and have, like, my own food and my
Yeah.
own schedule.
A little bit of a theory around that. Like, I definitely think, like...
Here's an Adam theory.
Adam theory.
Adam theory. Not scientific.
I don't think that... Yeah, not at all. It's pseudoscience at best. But, like, I think, like, when you're young, you just have blind ignorance. Like, it was just as painful at 33 as it was for me at 19. But at 19, I was so ignorant to the pain that I didn't really think about it. I had, like, the invincibility complex, and I was just going to go for it. I just didn't even know that I didn't know that it was hurting, so it never became a thing. Whereas, like, now I'm like, man, my knees hurt. Like, after, like, a really long day on the floor training or whatever it is, or, like, being on an airplane for, 12 hours. Like, back then it was just, like, I think you recovered a little bit faster, but at the same time, I think it was the same pain.
Do you think it was just like you were more driven by fun and less by comfort when you were younger?
Maybe.
Like, YOLO.
I never played if I played the YOLO game then, I'm definitely still playing it now. Just as dumb. But no, like you feel swollen. Like you get done and your eyes are all swollen up, your face feels swollen, you feel like you have fat face going on.
You feel hungover even though you're not hungover.
Yeah, you didn't drink a drop of alcohol and you still felt hungover. Like, what's a couple of them? We can talk about those. Like, a couple of the factors that go into that.
I mean, the food you eat, obviously, right?
Yeah, but what about the food that you eat?
Like, so you aren't making your own food. You don't have a kitchen. And even though you try and do the best you can while you're out, you're not preparing it. So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
I think that there is something there too. Like the whole thing of like, I swear that if the people who cook the most food, in the first year of training in a Grit Gym, the people who cook their own food make more progress, even if they did cheat more. Like if they had pasta more nights and they had really fatty meals more nights, I think that there's something about the connection between cooking your own food and eating your own food and eating the food that you did cook.
Well, in most places, food cost is an issue, right? So what you're unless you're going to an incredibly high-end restaurant where, spare no expense, like everything's about cutting costs. So it's like crappier fillers and things, crappier oils is cooked in, like a chicken breast, that you cooked at home versus one that like was marinated in tons of garbage oil. Like, I mean, it's still a chicken breast and it's fine. Like, you should eat it. It's no big deal. But there is more, more junk around it, The
chicken breast that was coming from, that you got in the frozen food section is probably about the exact same chicken breast that is coming from the restaurant. Only the restaurant dazzles it up quite a bit more.
Right. And I mean, when you cook at home, chances are, I mean, especially if you're a Grit Gym member, like, you're not cooking it in soybean oil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not cooking it in, like, crap, in Crisco, or margarine.
This is a long time ago now, but I don't think I've ever thanked you for this. But thanks for turning me on to avocado oil.
It's great, right?
It's great.
Avocado. Right, but, like, most of our peeps are not, am I right?
Yeah.
Most of our peeps are not cooking in that stuff. So just like those slight changes, like you get your palate changes, you get used to eating a certain way, and
the little things accumulate.
Yeah.
We talk about this with anybody that comes in with back pain to Grit Gym. We reteach them how to tie their shoes. Not kidding you at all. And everybody laughs at us and is like, why am I learning how to retie my shoes? I've been tying my shoes for a long time. I think I know how to do it. And I'm like, that is why your back hurts. It's because you've been tying your shoes wrong. I guarantee you, if you're watching this video, you tie your shoes wrong.
Are you about to?
No, I'm not going. I'll do that on another video sometime. But it's simple things like that. It's like how you tie your shoes, how you actually bend down to spit the toothpaste out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You do it wrong. I almost guarantee it. If you have back pain, you do that wrong.
Yeah, like,
Simple thing, right? If you're fat, you probably do one of the things that we're going to talk about on the show. You do it wrong. You have the wrong information.
yeah. I mean, so if you are just like those simple like things where you might at home have more anti-inflammatory oils and cooking things, like just like that small amount of inflammation that you're getting, it wouldn't, like if you go to a crappy restaurant once in a while, it's not going to bother you, but while you're traveling and you have all these other things going on.
Because you're going to eat breakfast and lunch and dinner, and you're going to eat them all out at a restaurant. And then you're not going to have the same, your routine is going to be completely replaced. Like if you're used to eating breakfast in this like quiet little environment where you get to sip on your coffee and warm up for the day, and you go into this loud restaurant that, you know, is like banging plates and crap all over, and everybody's around you, and you're not used to that. That's a different stressor.
Yeah.
You're not going to accept that food the same.
I would imagine that everything we'll talk about they're just little increments, but like the fact that they all exist will build up on you and give you that feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
And the food in general is not a huge thing, but the amount of that you're eating with all these other things, like they build up on you.
Yeah. Can you go contrary to me for a little bit?
I would love to. Go.
All right, play it
Okay.
Because like salt is something that at restaurants gets just dumped into everything that you have, right? Mm-hmm. But I always contend.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to play. I might agree with you for one.
Okay. So like, but unless you have but salt got demonized in like the late '90s, right? They were just like salt causes heart attacks, and it's like unless you have a hypertension or something like that, you probably don't. I don't think you need to be watching your salt. But at the same time, in this conversation,
right?
Hit me with some contrary.
So here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So here's the thing. When it comes to salt, I think that people who say they don't like healthy food don't properly season their food. They got salt phobia.
That's a good point.
Where you're like, oh, I buy like salt-free Mrs. Dash, and I like don't salt my food. I think it's people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know.
But like, I think that like if you don't like, I don't know, a certain kind of vegetable, you don't like asparagus, you're probably not seasoning it well, or like a lot of things when you're cooking. Salt added to the cooking process really brings out the flavor. Salt added afterwards, I think, tends to give you more of that salty taste that people don't really like. So. Oh
yeah, totally. You have to add it while you're cooking. You're cooking, like adding seasoning afterwards is such a.
It's a waste.
Like it's basically just like an afterthought.
Yeah.
It would have been really good to have 2 days ago, but as an afterthought, we should have done this. That's basically all it is.
So I mean, in the nutrition classes, I very much do. I like if you don't like something, you're probably not seasoning it right. Mm-hmm. I do use that, but when it comes to restaurants, like I used to work in a restaurant. Like if you look at the nutrition facts on them, like the sodium content is through the roof.
Yeah.
Like outside of what you would be adding yourself.
And there's a reason for that. They want to make their food taste really good so you come back, right?
Right. Sugar and salt added to food makes it taste really good. So that's what they do in different variables. So I mean, I think that it's just kind of like there's a spectrum.
Yep. And
in the context of eating at a restaurant all the time, even if you are cooking at home, there is more salt added and there's more sodium added, and you will feel more bloated.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is that devil's advocate? Like I'm pro salt.
I was trying to say salt isn't bad for you, so yes.
Yeah, I mean salt isn't bad for you. Nothing's bad for you, right? If you.
I know arsenic's pretty bad for you.
Yeah, food.
Hemlock's pretty bad for you.
But you know what I'm saying. Like it's all a spectrum, right? So like if you don't use enough salt, your food's gonna taste bland. If you don't season your food enough, your food's gonna taste bland. But if you use too much, you are gonna feel puffy.
Yeah. Yeah, your eyes are going to swell up.
Yeah, you're going to get that puffy feeling. Yeah. And in a restaurant, every single time, it's going to be on the more side.
Yeah. Can we simplify alcohol really quick, too?
Yeah, what do you want to...
I always say, the way I say it is there's a big difference between one glass of wine and a bottle of wine.
Agreed.
There's a big difference between one beer and a dozen beers. So there's a huge difference there.
Yeah. So what I tell people in the nutrition groups is, in general, if you do everything right 80% of the time, you're good.
Yeah,
and I think that alcohol just falls into that 20%. Mm-hmm. Like if you like love your glass of wine, Like if that is something you treasure every night, you shouldn't give that up. But it's part of your 20%, you know? Like you treat it like any other food and put it in the 20%.
Yeah.
So anything, you can eat any food in that 20%. If it only takes up 20% of your diet. And alcohol falls into that for me.
Rachel's a salt fiend. She was like what, that was like a big thing for the first few like maybe 2 years of our relationship. She would like be like, I'm trying to use less salt. I'd be like, why?
It's all about when you use it.
Yeah.
It's all about when you use it.
Yeah.
I think that makes the difference because it really helps with like the caramelization of meats and stuff in that process that like gives you the browning and stuff. It does play a role in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion on alcohol. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like we should have those like, I think alcohol is 20%. Prove me wrong. Like we should like have like science.
No, change my mind.
Change my mind. Yeah. That's
what's his name? Down with Chowder or whatever his name is. His name's like Brian Chowder or something like that. He's an interesting person.
But it's just funny. That's how I feel right now. You're like, I think alcohol is okay. Prove me wrong. That's how I feel like we're doing right now.
My favorite meme that's come out of that is the one that's it's got the girl that has a really angry face on it, and it says, "I'm offended. You change your mind." I like died laughing.
That's funny.
That was so funny. But some of the other things, like, so we've got ingredients, we've got salt that is going to make you swell up a little bit. We got like crappy oils that are probably in restaurant food that you're just going to be eating over and over again. We've got a routine disruption that matters. That adds an extra stressor to your life that you're not used to. And anytime you're not used to a stressor, it changes things. It just does. It's how it goes. And if you were to travel 3 times a week every week for a couple months, you'd just adjust and you'd probably feel fine, but you'd also probably just have grown to the normalcy of feeling like crap is really what would happen. Well, you're getting less rest and relaxation to be able to recover.
I mean, you probably, here you go, I'll be devil's advocate, but like if you slept in a hotel 3 times a week, you'd probably get better at sleeping in hotels.
Like there's probably a both there.
Yeah, you probably like can adapt. Like, and you would probably, I mean, come up with a schedule of what you do, right?
Yeah, like you might just skip breakfast altogether. Or you might only stay, like one of the things that we like to do is I only like to stay in places that actually have a kitchen in the room. Like an Airbnb or something like that, so that you can actually just make your own breakfast.
You'd come up with a new schedule.
You come up with something different, But so you also have alcohol. You're probably drinking a little bit more if you're on the road. You have, like, if you're in a plane, there's just like dry air. And with the dry air, like I don't get. There is no way that you're probably staying properly hydrated if you're on the road. It's just difficult.
Well, how many times are you driving? You're on a plane. You're like, oh, I can't drink more water. I'm gonna have to get up to pee.
That's what I mean.
I'm gonna have to stop to pee.
There's so many obstacles in the way of actually being.
My husband said that to me. Like, oh, I can't drink that much water. Like, I don't want to have to stop again. But then, like, what you're doing to yourself is just dehydrated.
Yeah.
And then you drink caffeine, like tons of caffeine, no water.
Yeah. But
you have a frappuccino.
You just always have these like things that come up. You run out of water. You don't want to lug this thing around with you. You spill you get everything all wet. Like there's like you find reasons to just be dehydrated. So you're not totally hydrated. And then. The last one that I had was you don't really get to take your supplements with you. So if you're used to, you can, but you look like a drug addict, like if you take creatine and you take a little baggie of creatine along with you, and you're gonna get picked up. They're gonna think it's cocaine, and you're gonna be like, how do I explain this one?
Yeah. Your whole. I mean, you're disrupted in general.
Yeah, you're just disrupted in general. But I was talking about this morning with somebody about the whole how we do the hydration thing.
What the system is like, how much water you should be drinking?
Well, that, and then the next step of like, so like the gallon of water
You're being
a day.
Big.
I know, I'm being super big. So I just do it. So the gallon of water a day thing we know is bogus, right? Like that's stupid. Like a 120-pound girl and a 240-pound dude do not need to be drinking the same amount of water. Like you take the 120-pound girl and what's it called? I'll think of the word here in a second. It's when you drink too much water and your electrolytes can't balance, and so you end up pooping your pants and dying.
You don't want to do that.
No, because you lose control of all the stuff, all these inside things that are very important. But
like your bladder control.
You're overhydrated, so your body's just trying to get rid of water however it can because you're drowning yourself from the inside out.
Right.
But what we do to segment that out, so I really like the half your body weight in ounces thing.
Yeah.
But what happens if you're drinking half your body weight in ounces, and you didn't start until 8 p.m. Like, also an error. Like, so try to get 1/4 of your body weight in ounces drank before noon.
So how much for a 170-pound male? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing is, so
Cut in half.
what I always tell people, is half your body weight in ounces, but that is outside of exercise and that is outside of meals.
Mm-hmm.
What you drink during meals and what you drink during workouts doesn't count towards that.
So 170-pound male would be 85 ounces, and then you'd cut that in half. So you're trying to drink approximately like
85 ounces.
42.5 ounces before noon.
Oh, before noon, yeah. And like I said, you're going to drink during your workout, so strenuous workouts, like that water doesn't count.
Yeah,
Water
doesn't-
loss
right.
does not count. Like workout water and meal water does not count.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And what that does, that just allows for if you're in a workout where you're in Arizona, the air's dry, and you're working your butt off, so you don't even realize how much you're sweating, and you get to a meal, you're probably going to have that thirst mechanism really kick in and hit you hard. So when that thirst mechanism kicks in, you have to listen to it. Mm-hmm. So drink the water during your meal.
Yeah.
Drink your water during your workout.
Yep. Your workouts and your meals don't count half your body weight outside of that.
Yeah.
And if you're going for weight loss or like fat loss as a primary goal, drinking water before your meals is an excellent way to try and fill up yourself.
Oh yeah. Two big one big glass of water or 2 small glasses of water before you actually eat your meal. You're going to feel a little bit more full faster.
Yeah, there's actually research on people who did where they've done it, where they've given people like a large glass of water to drink before their meals, and they eat less. It's true.
And it's tried to be debunked like 6 or 7 times now, and every single time it comes back that the control group isn't as good as the group that actually did the experiment.
Yeah, and that would be not good advice for muscle gain as a primary goal or weight gain in general. You want to get the calories in, but it's a little trick that you can use if weight loss or fat loss is your primary goal.
Yeah, so if you're a super skinny dude and you're trying to get
yoked, don't listen to me.
Don't do that. Just eat.
Yeah.
But if you're 55-year-old, I don't know, wanting to lose 20 pounds, great.
Yeah.
Great shot. But also, the last thing, part of the reason that I think that you feel like a beached whale after traveling for 3 days is that you've been sitting so much. You just have not been. I don't care if you got up and you went to a workout in the gym that you're still going to feel like crap because you just sat all day. And if you think about how much we sit just as like when you're traveling, you get up, you sit down to eat breakfast, and then you get up and you go and you do your work, the work that you need to do at a desk, and then you go to like your conference or whatever it was and you sit, or you go to a beach and you sit, and you go and you get lunch and then you sit, and then you go back to your beach or your conference and you sit, and you go to supper and you sit, and then you probably sit in a chair and drink at a bar until it's time to go do something else, and then you sit and watch TV for a little while until it's time to go to bed, where you lay down.
Yeah, and the thing is too, even if you're doing purposeful exercise, like that doesn't replace movement throughout the day.
Right.
Like they're two separate things and you need both of them.
Yeah.
Like we're not I'm not saying you shouldn't do a purposeful workout. If you're on vacation, you're at a conference, go do your workouts. I appreciate, you should. You should do that. Like I highly recommend you do it. But just because you do a workout at 7 p.m. for an hour, that doesn't make up for the whole day of not moving.
And there's plenty of, this isn't like just a theory. This is not Adam theory, what she just said. It's not Amber theory. It's not anybody's theory.
Well, it's real.
This
is
real
real theory.
So, like, let's say we're sitting down, like all you people out there that want a bigger butt, that want like really strong glutes, which everybody needs, no matter what. I'm not saying you need a huge ass. I'm saying you need strong glutes. You need those hips to work.
Adam just wants everyone to have a huge ass.
That's maybe I just
maybe Adam just wants a huge ass.
But if you're sitting down like I am right now, we're restricting blood flow to that area.
Yeah.
That's a scientific thing. Blood flow matters. So when we restrict blood flow to that area, our body's going to adapt to that restricted blood flow. And your body's pretty smart. It doesn't have to actually even it doesn't have to think, oh, okay, well, I'll do this and this will be my strategy.
Yeah.
No, the body didn't get the blood flow. The muscle didn't get the blood flow. So the muscle just went away. Body's super, super smart. Millions of years of evolution. You're not going to outsmart it.
Nope.
It just did. So if we're sitting all day, and the same thing goes on with your spine. If you want a healthy spine, you don't get to sit all day. I don't care if you're getting 3 hours of exercise at night.
Yeah.
You are not going to outdo.
They're
same thing
two
with your
separate
shoulder.
things. Like you need both purposeful, goal-oriented, like exercise, like what we do in a gym, and then you also need movement throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, and you're
not going to
you
get
need
away
both.
with one versus the
No,
other.
you need both.
You don't get to cherry pick on this thing.
Yeah.
Foam rolling is the same thing. We found out that if you foam rolled 5 minutes a day versus 90 minutes a week. So if you took Friday afternoon, you rolled out for 90 minutes versus 5 minutes a day, you get more out of the 5 minutes a day. If we get up and walk around 15 times per day, it's much better than going for a 1 hour walk once a day. Yep. It's better to have that incremental type of activity throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, sedentary lifestyle is terrible for you.
The thing with the standing desk that came out of the standing desk was that they basically just fucked up their hips. You shouldn't, like, you can't just sit there and stand all day. Your knees and your hips are just going to get all out of whack because you're going to end up doing this. So you want to sit for 20 minutes.
We're
and you
lazy.
want to stand for 20 minutes. Then you want to
lazy.
go down to one knee for 20 minutes, and then the other knee, and then two knees, and then you want to sit with your feet up, and then you just want to change your position every 20 minutes. You want to get up and walk around at least once every 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like your body just craves this stuff, and so when you're traveling, you're stuck, and you have all this crappy food, processed food going in.
And we're so like predisposed to like not wanting to be the odd person out and like getting up. Like you never want to be the person to like stand up. Like I feel like we're all like, we all have such herd mentality, you know? Like where we're like, don't draw any attention to us. But like, I don't know. I paid to be there. You can stand up. I
stand up in the back of the room all the time because I'm either moving or I'm falling asleep. I don't really have much in between. So I get up and I walk back. I walk back to the back of the room and just stand there. I get more out of it. I started doing that when I was in college because when you're in training camp, you have to do. I mean, you're maybe doing 6 hours of film a day sometimes, and it's so boring because you watch the same play for every single player. The coach analyzes. So the coach will start with the receiver, and then he'll go to the tight end, and then he'll go to the tackle, and then a guard, and then a center, and then a quarterback, and then a running back, and then the other running back, and maybe another running back, and then another receiver, whatever it is. And he'll go through every single one of them. So you'll end up seeing that same play at least 11 times. At least. You probably see it more
and
like 33 times.
And it wasn't even that exciting of a play to start with.
Yeah, and for the most part, the only time that it was even that they were analyzing me was the only part that I was like really engaged. So you end up just falling asleep. And if you fall asleep in a football meeting, they're going to rip you out in the hallway and they're going to make you do 40 up downs. And it's 1, stay awake, be disciplined to stay awake, and 2, wake up. So it's 1 punishment and then 2 to get them going.
Yeah, I'm also that person that takes like really like, people are like, oh, your notes are so thorough. I love your notes. I'm like, this is how I stay engaged in everything.
Yeah. But I don't remember where we were going with that.
Sitting down.
I was sitting down, just moving around.
Yeah.
So so that's another reason why you feel like a beach whale after 3 days. And then the real reason why I want to do this video was because I think people come back on Monday after this trip and they feel like this, so they beat the shit out of themselves.
Like they try and like undo it all. You mean like?
Yeah, like they might go too hard at their workout. What I really notice is everybody comes back and they say it's true to them that I feel like I gained 8 pounds, and it's like in my head I'm like, I know that they didn't gain 8 pounds, I know they didn't, but to them it is true that they did feel like that, you know.
Yeah.
So am I going to argue with?
Well, it's all in that sodium, the puffiness.
Right. So it might be even true that they gained 8 pounds, but did they gain 8 pounds of fat?
Fat, right? No,
they did not gain 8 pounds. But in their head, it is 100% true that they gained 8 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
Or they feel it is it's at least 100% true that. And to me, I can agree with you that you feel like you gained 8 pounds.
Sure.
Like, you can't argue that. That's what she feels, or that's what he feels. And I think people end up beating up on themselves after 3 days. Like, I screwed up so bad. I ate all this shitty food. It's like, did you?
It's relevant to so many things. Like, even, I mean, traveling especially, but even beyond that, like people like, yeah, like when they go on vacation, when they like fall off the wagon for a couple weeks or whatever happens. Yeah. Like we see it all the time.
Yeah.
People come in and then like you're on like, yeah, you beat yourself up in the gym and then you have you try and tighten up your nutrition to the point of unsustainability where now you're just yo-yo dieting. And then you're beating yourself up and you shame yourself. Yeah.
You shame yourself for how you acted while you were on vacation. It's like, It was your vacation. Have fun. Like,
Yeah.
it was your vacation. You did what you were supposed to do.
Well, and this is like, you've heard me complain, like, I think that New Year's resolutions are really dumb.
Yeah, they're just an arbitrary.
But it's just like, it's an arbitrary start point. Like, any day can be your day.
Yeah.
Like, start.
Yeah,
Get going.
That's why we say you're one
Yeah.
decision away from a better decision.
Yeah, like, there's no, you can't undo what's happened. And it's okay to have fun, and it's okay to go on vacation and eat some ice cream. Like,
and that might be an interesting topic that we should go down sometime. Like, did you make an error or not?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, we got to figure out, was this an error or not?
Yeah.
Like,
Going on vacation and having a few too many drinks, like,
that's
not life.
That might not have been an
Yeah.
error. And if it wasn't an error, then you definitely shouldn't be beating yourself up.
No.
But if it was an error, why are you, like, you still shouldn't be beating yourself up. What did you learn?
Right. Well, going too hard in the gym and beating yourself up, and then like trying to tighten down your nutrition to the point of something you can't sustain, like you're doing more harm to yourself than good.
It's hugely detrimental.
Yeah, way more harm than good.
Yeah.
You know, like if you can't sustain what you're doing, it's hurting you.
Yeah, and it all comes back to that shame thing, and I think like fat shaming gets in the news a lot, or in the media, like social media stuff right now. You take a person who is a little bit overweight, and even slightly overweight, I guarantee you they have fat shamed themselves more than anybody ever will.
Yeah.
Like
they don't need your input.
They don't. Yeah, they've already done it. So that's something to think about, not for them, how you're reacting with them. I think that's something for how you're going to react with you. Because I mean, I know so many men, women, I don't think it matters, that have come into me and they've gotten just extremely vulnerable, extremely real, and they end up telling me like these are like extremely gorgeous, very handsome men, very in decent shape. Maybe like if they lost 10 pounds, they would be like chiseled, ripped up, and they express that they hate their body, and they hate how fat they are, and they're fat shaming themselves.
Well, I mean, it's a mental thing more than a physical thing anyway. I mean, we've talked about before in the show, like when my Graves' disease was really, really bad, right? Like I was skinny. Yeah. Like I was probably 40 pounds less than I am now. Skinny.
40 pounds is a lot on a 5. What are you, 5'6", 5'7"?
Yeah, 5'6". Yeah. Like 40 pounds later, I was rail thin, and I never ever thought that I was, like, in my own head, like honest to God, I can never, like right now, I don't feel any different. I might even feel better, quite honestly, because I was pretty sick. But like, I never.
Yeah, I hope you feel better.
But do you know what I mean, though? Like, but I never like looked in the mirror and was like, I look good. Like I made it.
Same thing. Like
I'm 100 pounds, and I was never like.
I was.
I made it. You know?
What was I? I was 225 pounds at 4.5% body fat.
Yeah.
And I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I look like this.
We have these ideas in our head that like if I just gained 15 more pounds, or I just lost 20 pounds, like then I could love myself, or then I would be enough.
Why are you putting conditions on loving yourself?
But it's just like, but it's always like we have these arbitrary goals that we think that once we reach them, everything's going to be different for us.
Yeah, but everything is.
And it's never going to be different.
It's just like if you try to run away from all your problems, wherever you stop running, those problems are still going to be there, because there you are. Wherever you go, there you are.
But when I was 40 pounds lighter, I did not feel any more beautiful. I didn't feel like I could relax. I didn't feel, I felt like literally pretty much like body image wise, like physically I felt terrible, but you just get used to your own.
Yeah,
it becomes normal. But like from a body image perspective, I didn't feel any better. Yeah. I didn't feel any more beautiful or anything.
I think people think that they're alone in this whole thing too.
Yeah.
Like they're like, no, everybody else's situation is different than mine. Mine's like this and this and this. It's like, no, it's not the same thing. Well, conceptually, it's almost the exact same thing.
We all think we're very unique in our pain.
But like you can like, I don't know. There's something there to explore for everybody. The whole idea, like everybody's going to beat up on their body a little bit, male, female. I know that.
Well, in social media, right? Like all you do is
you compare yourself to other people, but
don't compare your outsides to people's insides.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are like, no, I don't have to. I don't do that.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah, it's just different.
Like let go of your ego for 10 seconds and get real. Yes, you do. Girls do it just as much as guys do it. I guarantee you.
People do it. The comparison trap is no joke.
Yeah, and I'm even comparing.
Comparison?
Yep, I'm comparing. But I'm comparing two things right there. But I'm trying to maybe decompare. But
I also don't think that's a word.
I like it. But like everybody goes through this. Like no one is exempt from this thing.
Yeah.
I don't. I've done this with so many different people where we sit down and have these very hard talks, and it doesn't matter if it's male or female. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. Everybody, every single, maybe not like a 6-year-old because they don't even know that it's a thing yet. But
yeah. But I mean, yeah, like it is funny, like how through evolution and stuff, like our bodies are our bodies do a lot for us. Like the fact that we're like the things we do to our bodies, like we're terrible to our bodies.
Yeah.
Like we eat like crap. We beat them up. We we don't take care of them, and like it still is on your team trying to help you.
Yeah,
like our bodies do a lot for us.
Yeah.
It's amazing how mean we are to them and how like hateful in our relationship with our bodies. When really like if you get down to like everything you've ever done to your body, the fact that your body is like still working for you, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been trying to do lately, and I've said this for a long time, that if you had a prize racehorse, $1 million racehorse, would you feed it fast food, tell it really nasty things all day,
yell at it,
at it, make it stay up really late at night, wake it up early in the morning, work it all day just into the ground? Would you do that? And of course you wouldn't, right? It's your $1 million horse.
You'd be very nice to it.
But then why do you do that to you?
Right.
And so one of the things I've been doing lately to try to like work on me, to make sure that my body's in because I have this tendency to put my health last, to be like, if I can work a couple extra hours, I can cut out the workout, or if I can work a couple hours, it's worth that lack of sleep.
Sure.
Where we know that's not right. So one of the things, what I've done is like, don't impose the thought on you, impose it on somebody else. So if you were think of what would you do if you were a professional athlete? What time would you go to bed if you were a professional athlete? What time would you go to, how many massages a week would you get if you were a professional athlete? How many float tanks would you get? How much would you meditate? What would you eat? Would you hire a personal chef? How much money would you allocate to being able to be healthier so that your body could perform better, so that you could make more money, right?
Well, yeah, it's amazing what you'll trade for money, right? Like, I don't need I need money, so I'll not sleep, or I need to work more, so I'm going to do this. And it's like we don't adjust our lifestyles like according to like how having more money doesn't necessarily solve all the problems. You know what I mean? Like, you can adjust your expenses to meet what your expenditure is,
or you can grow that income,
or
so
you
that
grow
you
the
can,
income.
Because to me, I think like the more clear that you can think, the better the more able you're going to be able to go out and get the money to pay for the things that you're supplying your health with.
I mean, there's a couple times a year where like one of us will travel and we have to work together, one of us are sick, or I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen sometimes, and like dealing with the other one is pretty miserable, right? You're like I'm like, wait, slow down. Like you're not doing yourself any favors. No. Your lack of sleep isn't actually helping you as much as being busy and being productive are not the same thing.
No, they're not even close.
You can be busy on enough, like on very little sleep, but being productive consistently on 4 hours of sleep is damn near impossible. Yeah,
we'll do a talk on here sometime about
this is a tangent
about time. It's a good one though.
Yeah.
But like getting at it, like trying to impose these things, like how to be critical on yourself and constructively critical and find ways and strategies around what to do for you, I think is almost like cutting your own hair. It's almost impossible. But if you use it on somebody else, if you say, if I was a professional athlete, if that professional athlete should go to bed at 9 p.m., well, guess what? If that's what you think, you better go to bed at 9 p.m. And if you think that professional athlete would be better if he or she or whatever ate certain foods, well, you better eat those foods. If you think that they'd be better off with a personal chef, you better get a personal chef. Personal trainer, you better get a personal trainer. Float tanks, you better get a float tank. Massage, you better get a massage. Going to, I don't know, a counselor, you better get a counselor.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that you know that, like, that's all going on in your mind. There's not this is a hypothetical professional athlete out there. It's not real. You're talking about you. So if you get out and you write down those things, you better do those to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's discipline, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's just hard to give yourself that haircut. It's easier to think of somebody else.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very once again it's hard to be objective with yourself, right? Like I said, I was like 100 pounds, like no joke. Like I was a size 2, like 100 pounds, super skinny, and I couldn't see it. Like you can't be objective. You just can't do it. Like we are too we're too
We're too close to the
we're
project.
We're true crazy pants,
Yeah.
crazy pants to be able to
Yeah.
see like
If
objectively.
you cannot see the picture when you are inside the
No,
frame.
not at all.
And you are the picture. Like, that's why you get a coach, because the coach is outside the frame. That's why you get a counselor. That's why you get a strength coach.
No.
That's why you go get a massage. You can't give yourself a massage. You got to go get, you know.
I wish you could give yourself a massage. That'd be amazing.
It would make a big difference. Just take some of those dissociative drugs and just
Yeah.
start pressing around. It's not my arm. It's not my arm.
Lay on it till you fall asleep and then train.
But I think there's a lot of stuff here that you can go down. That's just one of the ways that I've been doing it lately, is to think, what would a professional athlete do? Or if I was a professional athlete, what would I do? Or what should and then I better apply that to me. Because if I apply that to me, then I'm going to do the things that get me to where I want to go. If I don't apply that to me, I'm going to end up where I always was. Same thing with you.
Truth.
Should we cut it off right there?
I feel like we've just like this was.
This is a longer one.
Well, yeah, it went tangent. We went off on a tangent.
I
It's a
like
good
our tangent.
tangent. It was good.
I like our
It was
tangents.
good. I like it. Hope you guys liked it too.
All right, we're going to cut this one off. Please comment down below what you guys thought, questions that you have. I really like when we can do back and forths. If you'd rather shoot me a direct message, which I get on a fairly regular basis, not all the time, but because it's something a little bit more personal, that's personally fine too. But please comment, like, share, tell us guys what you thought, and we'll be back. I don't know.
You'll be back.
I'll be back tomorrow with Rachel. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys.